2022 was a great year of outstanding accomplishments and exponential discoveries in the space industry. The year began right, with the launch of the James Webb Space Telescope, a massive infrared telescope with a 6.5-meter primary mirror that set off on a majestic journey to explore the deeper dimensions of the cosmos. The JWST indeed made this year a tremendous one for astronomy research, alongside a plethora of other significant discoveries in space and physics. The year 2022 was indeed an interesting one, with so many discoveries revolving around JWST, Pluto, black holes, wormholes, and lots more. Let's talk through a few of these major accomplishments. Number 1. SpaceX kicked off 2022 with the Starlink launch. After setting a record for launch activity in 2021, SpaceX started 2022 with the Falcon 9 launch of a set of Starlink satellites on January 6th. The Falcon 9 lifted off from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center in Florida at 4:49 p.m. Eastern on a mission designated Starlink 4-5 by SpaceX. Starlink is SpaceX's endeavor to bring low-cost wireless internet connectivity to remote locations by placing thousands of satellites into orbit. The innovative idea, though, has received its fair share of criticism. Astronomers worry, for instance, that too many satellites in the sky will interfere with astronomical observations. Number 2. January 24th, James Webb locked into place. The launch of this telescope was an unprecedented success. Astronomers held their breath as the $10 billion machine went through a complex 6-month engineering deployment in deep space, during which hundreds of potential failures could have seriously damaged it. It marked a massive milestone for the field-altering James Webb Space Telescope. On January 24th, shortly after 11 a.m., JWST reached the second Lagrange point, a gravitational balance point well past the Moon's orbit around Earth and on the side of our planet away from the Sun. Steadied by the combined gravity of the Sun and Earth, it began to set out to unveil the universe's mysteries. Number 3. An infrared eye on the universe. The wait was long, with more delays and cost overruns than anyone anticipated. But after finally launching last year, the JWST gently made its way through the complicated unfolding process. In July, its first results were announced, with 5 stunning images released to the world. Since then, it's been one huge discovery after another. The JWST's most significant accomplishments have probably been its observations dating back to the beginning of creation, observing the first stars and galaxies. The most powerful space telescope ever launched has also transformed our view of objects within the Milky Way, and even within our solar system with its unique views of Jupiter and Titan. Number 4. The first image of the Milky Way's supermassive black hole. This wasn't the first supermassive black hole astronomers had ever imaged. However, the image captured by the Event Horizon Telescope is a supermassive black hole at the core of our own Milky Way galaxy. Discovering this supermassive black hole, Sagittarius A, was a monumental achievement by astronomers. Though, if you look closely at the image captured, you cannot directly see a black hole, not even one with the mass of 4 billion suns. Its gravity is so strong that not even light can escape it. However, one can observe the ring of hot gases that circles the black hole, known as the accretion disk, and that was what captured the attention of astronomers. Achievements like this are significant because they push the boundaries of what we know about the universe and help us test our most vital theories about how the cosmos works. They can even lead to new discoveries and ways of observing and exploring space. Number 5. Earendel, the farthest star ever discovered. Also in the year 2022, the Hubble Space Telescope discovered a bright star hidden in the distorted background of a huge cluster of galaxies, which is now considered to be the earliest and most distant star ever discovered. The star, nicknamed Earendel, is a super-hot, super-bright giant that formed about 13 billion years ago at the beginning of the cosmos. The previous record holder, Icarus, also a blue supergiant star spotted by Hubble, formed 9.4 billion years ago. That's more than 4 billion years after the Big Bang. Based on Hubble data, Earendel may well have been among the first generation of stars born after the Big Bang. Scientists hope that the newly launched James Webb Space Telescope would help provide more details about this star as time goes on. Current data indicates Earendel was more than 50 times the size of our Sun and estimated to be 1 million times brighter, thus outsizing Icarus. Number 6. There were new discoveries about Pluto. Pluto, once considered the ninth and most distant planet from the Sun, is now the largest known dwarf planet in the solar system. It's also one of the largest known members of the Kuiper Belt, a shadowy zone beyond the orbit of Neptune, thought to be populated by hundreds of thousands of rocky, icy bodies. But recently, images of Pluto captured by NASA's New Horizons mission in 2022 revealed that Pluto has giant ice volcanoes. According to astronauts, this new image analysis showed a bumpy region on Pluto that doesn't look like any other part of it, or the rest of our cosmic neighborhood. While Pluto has a rocky core, scientists have long believed that the planet lacked much interior heating. But this new discovery tends to change almost everything about our knowledge of this dwarf planet. If active giant ice volcanoes could be present on Pluto, this means Pluto has more internal heat than we thought it would, which means we don't fully understand how planetary bodies work, said an astronaut. Number 7. Axiom 1 launched the first all-private crew to the ISS. The Axiom 1 mission sent the first private crew to the International Space Station on April 8th. The team consists of former NASA astronaut and Axiom Vice President Michael Lopez Alegria as commander, American entrepreneur and nonprofit activist investor Larry Connor as the pilot, Canadian investor and philanthropist Mark Pathy, and Israeli impact investor and philanthropist Eitan Stib, according to Axiom's website. Fun fact: rumor has it each of the 4 space tourists paid $55 million to get their spot aboard the craft. On April 25th, the crew splashed down safely on Earth. And that wasn't all. It's obvious 2022 was an awesome year for space exploration. One in which not one, but 2 private crews landed on board at the International Space Station. That same month, on April 27th, SpaceX's all-private Crew 4 mission left for a trip among the stars aboard the agency's Crew Dragon capsule. The 4 astronauts took residence on the ISS, and Jessica Watkins, a mission specialist, became the first Black woman to be a long-term crew member aboard the station. Number 8. We finally attempted to get back to the moon after 50 years. What a monumental feat! On December 11th, the Artemis 1 mission ended with the successful splashdown of the Orion capsule in the Pacific Ocean. The end of this mission came on the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 17 moon landing, the last time humans walked on the surface of the moon. The Artemis program aims to land humans, including the first woman and the first person of color, on the lunar surface before the end of the decade. Artemis 1 was uncrewed for the specific purpose of testing the Orion spacecraft in preparation for future crewed missions. In its 25.5 days in orbit, the spacecraft went further than any other human-grade space vehicle ever has. Orion is returned from the moon and is safely back on planet Earth. In the coming days, the capsule will be taken to NASA's Kennedy Space Center to remove payloads. For several months, it will be studied in detail to make sure it is absolutely ready to carry astronauts around the moon as part of the Artemis 2 mission, hopefully in late 2024. Number 9. The first ever wormhole. Still in 2022, a collaborative team of researchers in the US have purportedly created the first ever wormhole, a kind of tunnel theorized in 1935 by Albert Einstein and Nathan Rosen that leads from one place to another by passing into an extra dimension of space. The wormhole emerged like a hologram out of quantum bits of information, or qubits, stored in tiny superconducting circuits. By manipulating the qubits, the physicists then sent information through the wormhole. This is the first known report of a quantum simulation of a holographic wormhole on a quantum processor. Number 10. South Korea's first moon mission. The modern space race has a new competitor, South Korea. The 678-kilogram spacecraft, named Korea Pathfinder Lunar Orbiter, KPLO, or Danuri in Korean, launched on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station's Launch Complex 40 at 7:08 p.m. Eastern, August 4th. The country's first lunar orbiter has begun its voyage toward the Moon on a mission critical to the country's future space projects. The Danuri orbiter is carrying 6 scientific instruments, including a hypersensitive optical camera, ShadowCam, provided by NASA, and a Space Internet demonstrator developed by South Korea's Electronics and Telecommunications Research Institute, which will validate any interplanetary internet connection using delay disruption-tolerant networking. The orbiter was working normally and traveling on a planned trajectory toward the Moon, said the Korea Aerospace Research Institute, KARI, which controls the spacecraft. It's expected to enter the Moon's orbit in December before starting a year-long observation mission. If it succeeds, South Korea will become the world's 7th lunar explorer, after the former Soviet Union, the US, China, India, the European Union, and Japan. Thanks for watching.